Good morning, everybody. This is Leon or Setter's raid. I apologize here. Yesterday I did a video and somehow it got corrupted, which really sucks because I'm not going to remember everything that I covered. But today I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to redo the video. Yesterday I did a live video also trying to put together a Hydra team. It was a great success. We had a lot of people there. Had a lot of fun. I'm going to do that every Monday. What I'm going to do, and I finally decided, it's been a moving target for me. I was going to do Monday, Wednesdays, Monday for Europe, Wednesdays for United States. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Monday, week 1 for Europe, Monday, week 2 for the United States. So that way it's not overdone. And I'm just going to alternate back and forth. I'm going to put out a schedule so that way we have all the times clearly marked out, or mapped out. So I'm good. But we're going to do a top 10 Hydra DPS guys. I already grabbed onto my rewards from yesterday. They were pathetic. I got 1 ancient and that was it. I'm sitting okay in ancients. Not great. Okay. Considering I just recently used them all, I'm seeing okay. I mean, look at 47, 3, and 2. I think I need quite a few more voids. I know I need a lot more sacreds. So, this upcoming champion, I think I'm just going to skip her. As much as I hate to do that, I am a huge fan of getting these every time. Whether they're good or bad, I'm a fan of it. But, I just don't have the resources to get it done. I'm not going to spend money on doing it. So, I'm sitting in a good place. I'm not going to be pushing a lot of things. So anyways, let's run through our top 10. I'm going to start off with 2 honorable mentions. And the reason that these guys are honorable mention is I don't see their first skill as DPS. I don't see them as a DPS champion. I see them as champions that do other things that they're also excellent DPS champions. But first one here is Mishinaki. Mishinaki. He is awesome. But on my Hydra teams, his number 1 skill is putting hexes out. AoE hex on everybody. That is his purpose. The DPS that he does afterwards is gravy on top. It's awesome gravy, but it's just gravy. So that's why he didn't make my top 10 list of DPS champions, because he does more damage than anybody else. Or not anybody else. He does more damage than a lot of guys that are on this list. Mainly because when there's a hex out, he has a 50-50 chance of teaming up to do an ally attack. He is really good. Like really, really, really good. And he does AoE, single. He puts out an HP burn, which also helps through the DPS. I mean, everything that we talk about, he's a great Hydra champion. He's on my best team. I don't think he will ever not be on my best team. Number 2 on the on my list of champions that are honorable mention. Let's see if we can find him real quick. I do not see him. Is Arctic. Arctic does a ton, just a flat out butt ton of damage. He really does. But his first role on the team is to be a burner. He's an excellent burner. He does a great job. Hence, he gets tons of damage. And not only that, but then he explodes them all. He instantly activates any HP debuff on each enemy. And he's doing tons of damage. And in my build, I got him doing Brimstone. I mean, come on. This guy is putting out damage like left and right. And of course, whenever an HP burn is activated, destroys the champion's max HP. He gets some of that, but he increases not at max HP, but he increases his crit damage. He increases defense by 1%. I mean, come on. Arctic is awesome. He does a lot of great work. But his main role on a team is to be a burner. So that's why he's not on the DPS list. So let's go ahead and get started at number 10. And everybody knows this guy, and I think everybody uses him. It's Royal Guard. Royal Guard comes in at number 10. He does a boatload of damage with his A2, which is an enemy max HP, and it attacks all enemies, which is really nice. So you don't have to worry about him. He does max HP on all enemies. I like putting him in Crushing Rend. Doesn't mean that that's the right one. I like putting him in that. He's an attack-based champion, but with this enemy max HP, he's going to do as much damage as possible. And then he does a decreased speed, which also helps on Hydra a lot. So I'm not upset with him being on any team of mine. He definitely deserves a spot on this list, along with his twin, Husk. Husk does the same thing. All enemies max HP. The reason that Husk is ahead of Royal Guard is Husk, he's based on HP, and that means he has higher HP, which means he tends to last longer in battles, which means on my teams, he tends to last a little bit longer, giving him a little bit more damage. The amount is very minute. But once again, enemy max HP, he places a good hit on the Hydro heads. And the other thing that he does that I very much appreciate is he does a provoke, and he can then become a mischief tank because he's max HP, or not max HP, because he is an HP champion. He's doing it. He can put out provokes as much as possible. So that was number 9. Number 8. Number 8 is a champion that he probably should be an honorable mention, but he just does straight up damage that well. When I put him on a team, I don't think of him as a speed controller, even though he's putting out tons of speed. Even though each time Speed stacks by 5. He's a speed champion by every sense of the imagination. But he does a lot of damage based on speed. And because his damage is based on speed. Damage is based on speed. Damage is based on speed. So he's not really a speed control champion as much as he is just speed. But he's doing a shit ton of damage. So that's why he made this list at number 8 for me. He does... excuse me. He does a lot of damage. He actually does some healing, putting out all enemies, putting out a leech. What I really wish is this was a leech decreased speed. If this was a leech decreased speed, oh, this guy would be so much higher on all my lists. But that said, he is awesome the way he is. He does loads of damage, and he makes my list at number 8. Number 7, we're actually going to go back to epics. I've done 3 out of 4 have been epics so far. Inquisitor Chamal. He does a lot of damage with his Cow of Horrors. I don't understand why. He just does. He really does a lot of damage. But the main reason that he's on this list is his A1. The Hydra heads, each one of them, they specialize in placing stupid debuffs. Guess what? Every time an enemy places a debuff, use this skill. It doesn't say every time an enemy places a single debuff, or places debuffs, it's a debuff. So if they place 3 poisons on you, he's going to hit them 3 times. If you notice that when he's out there, he's constantly shooting. Now this move does not do a ton of damage, but it's going off so often that it is filling up everybody else's that it's collecting damage. Now he does other things, and the thing I love is each critical hit fills his champion's turn meter by 7.5%. Whenever an ally receives fear or true fear from an enemy, the skill will instantly remove the debuff and fill the team's leader by 15%. He's filling his own turn meter, and he's filling your team leader by 15%. So, he hits. And that stupid head of wrath, I think it is. He is constantly giving turn meter to everybody. He's constantly helping your team, but he's doing a ton of damage with his A1, A2. I have an all AoE team that I'm absolutely proud of. That I put together. That's all my idea. I love it. I need just one more guy. Just one guy to push me over the edge. And I'll have a great team. A great second team. I'm just one guy short, and he's the star of that team. But yeah, that's number 7, Inquisitor Chamal. Number 6. Rathalos Blade Master. He does a good amount of damage. He attacks all enemies, which is perfect for the Slayer. And he attacks one enemy, but every other round, he attracts all enemies instead. So this here is once again great for Slayer. And then he has, if this target is a boss that can't be resisted, so he's putting out decreased defense, and he doesn't need because all Hydra heads are bosses. He doesn't need accuracy. Doesn't need accuracy. He just ignores defense. And of course, if the boss's head is if it's a boss head, it ignores 100% of the target's defense. He is doing straight up damage to the Hydra head. This one here doesn't require accuracy. So guess what? All we have to do is focus on speed and attack and survivability. So he does a ton of damage. And then he inflicts 50% more when there's HP burns out there. Well, you pair him up with Artak, and there's always burns out, and he does more damage and receives less damage. And every 5th use doubles up his damage. So you try to time it. I know everybody tries to time it for his A3. I always try to time it for his A2. Especially when it's on the even number A2. It just hits like a freaking Mack truck. So, Rathalos Blade Master. In at number 6. Number 5. I call him Rat King, but he's actually not the Rat King. He's a Verminlord. Gnishak. Gnishak, straight up front, smacks. Just hits hard. And AoE, AoE. And this is damn near an AoE. It hits 3 times at random, but that means 3 out of the 4 heads, there's 3 out of 4 hits. You put them at 100% crit rate, though I'm not quite at 100% crit rate. I will get him at 100% crit rate here very soon. But you put him at 100% crit rate, and he is going to do a lot of damage. You put him at 100% crit rate, and you let him go. And he places a bomb. He places a bomb, or does decrease attack and reduces the countdown on all the bombs. He places more bombs. So he's constantly placing bombs, and then on his passive, when the bombs go off, they turn into 2 poisons. And what do the Hydra heads do so well? They clean themselves off. Well, guess what? They'll clean themselves off, and they still have damage coming to them. Now, I understand that the poison damage is reduced, but he straight up smacks first, and then on top of that, if the bombs go off, which they do a lot of times, he's doing a lot of bond damage. And then on top of that, he's putting out poisons, and he's putting out a lot of poisons. He by himself can fill up the Hydra heads with poisons. I don't have another poisoner. I don't have toxic gear on anybody. I don't have toxic gear on him. And he is hitting hard, and he's putting poisons out. And he's putting out enough poisons that the heads are throwing up my guys if they devoured them. As a matter of fact, last game I did, the heads ate him. He was the last DPS I had, and I thought, oh, it's over. They took their turns, and they legitimately, the poisons were enough to make them throw them back up. And once again, we're talking about hit and then automatic hit, because you get another turn. Grants an extra turn. So yes, Gnishak is my number 5. And he probably should be higher, but he's my number 5, and I really like him. Number 4 is Grazor. I didn't realize this until just recently at how powerful Grazor is. Once again, AoE, provoke, and he puts out increased resistance and increased defense. And this is a big ass increased resistance. And it's out there for 2 turns, and it's getting refreshed every 3rd turn. This is big and necessary, keeps your team alive, and does a great freaking job. Grazor Iron Guts. But that's not his DPS. That's his DPS. Hits all enemies. It heals this champion by 10% of the damage dealt. And guess what? He's hitting freaking max enemy HP. I always try to pair him with a remove buffs, a buff remover, because if they have the reflect damage, it gets rid of this, and then it makes this kind of worthless where he heals all allies by 70% of the damage received. But he is seriously a guy to look out for. And then, once again, attacks all enemies. So, this guy here is somebody that you need to keep an eye on. Attacks all enemies, attacks all enemies, attacks all enemies. I mean, that's... when you're going up against Hydra, that's a lot of damage. There's nothing that says don't attack. Even though he's a defense-based champion, this is attack, 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 attack. And so he is really, really good. Grazor is my number 4. My number 3. This here would have been number 10 4 or 5 days ago. Trena. Trena, the reason that she's so powerful is her A2. Leave me explain this. This is a hard one to understand. I didn't get it. And then I watched it, and then I understood, but I had to watch it. And I'm nowhere near this. But Trena, her A2, if it hits a decapitated head, there's no defense, there's no blocking anything, she's going to do her max damage, right? She does her max damage. She's going to deal 60% of that damage on the first hit to everybody else. So if there's a downed head, she attacks that head with her A2, she's going to deal a lot of damage. So what you want to do, and I'm nowhere near it, as you can see here, I'm only at 150%. You want her to be at 300%. Seriously, 300% crit damage. 100% crit rate, 300% crit damage. Maybe even more. And you want her speed to be at least 220, 210. This only works on normal Hydra. It does work on hard, but then you have to have even higher stats. But if you can get her crit rate, that 340, 350 area, I've seen a lot of people do that. She will legitimately hit and decapitate and then keep all the heads decapitated the entire time. Okay, and then what they do is they just put out Painkeeper. They put out Countess Licks. I'm sorry. They put out the other one that they use a lot is I can't think of his name. Anyways, he reduces. Anybody who reduces the count, and so they put 3 of them on the team. So her only move she ever uses is her A2, and she just continuously uses her A2 over and over and over again. And guess what? No one else gets a turn. Because as I said, doesn't matter how fragile she is, they're not even getting a chance to attack. And she is putting out that huge damage. To be honest with you, the perfect match for her is Iron Guts, because Iron Guts can help you decapitate one head, and then once one head is down, she can just continuously do it. I've seen 2 billion damage from her. B as in billion, not on one hit, across the game. But think about it, 2 billion damage. That's why she had to be number 3. She's not the most consistent. She has to be put on a special team. She has to be taken care of in a special way. I'm working on doing that. And that was what my upcoming live events are going to be, is we're going to work on that team. But she does 2 as in B billion damage. Pretty awesome. Oops, I clicked the wrong button. You idiot, Leon. That brings me to my number 2. My number 2 is probably my favorite champion. You see me use him all the time. All the time. He's a defense-based champion. It's Newt. His big hit is Blessed Bash. He hits 3 times. I don't care if it's weak affinity. I don't care if it's strong affinity. I don't care if it's neutral affinity. I don't care if they have shields up. I don't care anything. When he hits with his Blessed Bash, he hits hard, and he'll make the Hydra heads throw up. Every once in a blue moon, it's not enough to have the Hydra head throw up, but essentially brimstone goes off afterwards, and that head's going to throw up. That's how that's how much damage he does. So when you know how you always have 2 DPSs to make sure that you constantly have the heads throwing up, he's my second one. And so when my other DPS is countdown is at 4, then I go manual to make sure that this move is available when it comes time to go. And you always pray it's not Mischief, because Mischief will redirect his hit, and it's always painful. So you also want to make sure you have a Hexer on the team, blah, blah, blah. You know how the story goes. But this move by itself, shit ton of damage. This is awesome because it's putting a weaken and a decrease attack. I hate the counterattack. If this counterattack wasn't here, I'd actually be happy. And then this one here does a freeze, but that doesn't count on Hydra. Oh, I did it again, you idiot. And my last person that I need to talk about is the best. Once again, there are better DPSs. These are DPSs that I own. I'm going to repeat that one more time so everybody hears it. These are DPSs that I own. The best one, by far, for Hydra is Acrizia. Acrizia attacks one enemy 2 times. AoE, max HP, max HP, max HP. Doesn't matter which move he does, he's got the heads throwing up. Period. He's got them throwing up. He puts out a decreased defense, or she does, which is nice. That's why I like putting her opposite Newt. So her and Newt together, because Newt does the weaken, she does the decreased defense. I have those both taken care of in one person. Max HP, max HP, max HP. We're talking about some serious, serious damage. And I like the crit rate in all battles. It's 20%. So you don't have to put as much into it. But that is my top 10 max HP champions. What is your favorite not max HP? What is your favorite DPS Hydra champions? Leave that in the comment. I'll comment back. As I said, these are the champions that I own. There are better DPS champions out there. I know it. I just don't have them to test it to say yes, they're good enough. Hell, I have, as you can see in the champions, I have Ninja. Ninja is actually a really good DPS champion in Hydra. I just thought Razelvarg did more damage and have used him many times and have proven that. So, that is my spiel today. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day.